Wake up.
See My World will involve the education, promotion and celebration of Pan-African arts, culture and being. This October 2020, between the 15th to the 18th, the same weekend of this historic meeting, there will be a festival reenactment of the 1945 Pan-African Congress, incorporating debates, forums, seminars, exhibitions and performances.
The aim? To establish a new cultural practice for Pan-Africans across Manchester and the UK, so we can establish historical legacy across the world. Big up to yourselves and big up to our sponsors. Let's make history, let's make a legacy. Come see our world.
Wake up.
See My World will involve the education, promotion and celebration of Pan-African arts, culture and being. This October 2020, between the 15th to the 18th, same weekend of this historic meeting, there will be a festival reenactment of the 1945 Pan-African Congress, incorporating debates, forums, seminars, exhibitions and performances.
The aim? To establish a new cultural practice for Pan-Africans across Manchester and the UK, so we can establish historical legacy across the world. Big up to yourselves and big up to our sponsors. Let's make history, let's make a legacy. Come see our world.
See My World will involve the education, promotion and celebration of Pan-African arts, culture and being. This October 2020, between the 15th to the 18th, the same weekend of this historic meeting, there will be a festival reenactment of the 1945 Pan-African Congress, incorporating debates, forums, seminars, exhibitions and performances.
The aim, to establish a new cultural practice for Pan-Africans across Manchester and the UK, so we can establish historical legacy across the world. Big up to yourselves and big up to our sponsors. Let's make history, let's make a legacy. Come see our world.
See My World will involve the education, promotion and celebration of Pan-African arts, culture and being. This October 2020, between the 15th to the 18th, same weekend of this historic meeting, there will be a festival reenactment of the 1945 Pan-African Congress, incorporating debates, forums, seminars, exhibitions and performances.
The aim? To establish a new cultural practice for Pan-Africans across Manchester and the UK, so we can establish historical legacy across the world. Big up to yourselves and big up to our sponsors. Let's make history, let's make a legacy. Come see our world.
Wake up.
See My World will involve the education, promotion and celebration of Pan-African arts, culture and being. This October 2020, between the 15th to the 18th, the same weekend of this historic meeting, there will be a festival reenactment of the 1945 Pan-African Congress, incorporating debates, forums, seminars, exhibitions and performances.
The aim? To establish a new cultural practice for Pan-Africans across Manchester and the UK, so we can establish historical legacy across the world. Big up to yourselves and big up to our sponsors. Let's make history, let's make a legacy. Come see our world.
Welcome everyone. My name is Nay Davina. Welcome to Morning Mindfulness. I am a yoga teacher and a health and wellbeing coach, and I'll be guiding you through a nice, relaxing practice, as well as sharing some tips on nutrition, meditation, and yoga. So yoga is almost like an umbrella. It houses so many different things, and nutrition is a part of that. It's almost like when we do yoga on the mat, we can transfer that same practice into any area of our lives, such as careers, with relationships, with the food that we put in our bodies. There's so many different angles to it, because what we do is when we're on the mat, we are constantly challenging ourselves. We're syncing the body, the mind, and the breath to become one. So we're trying to relax the body, whilst sometimes in very challenging postures. And so this same practice we can utilize in different areas, which is why it's known as a very popular and holistic practice. So we're going to be doing a beautiful practice today. Yoga becomes more than a physical practice. It becomes a way of life. It becomes a way of living. And so it becomes more than what we put in our mouth. It's about what we feed ourselves internally, what we're feeding our mind, what we're feeding our bodies, what we're feeding our emotions, whole package. So it's really important to really acknowledge what we are putting in internally. The body is constantly being bombarded with energy, with chemicals in our food, with so many different things, social media and information, that it needs time to rest and recuperate. And feeding ourselves the right food to help with that, to assist that, is really going to help for us to maintain a healthy immune system, a nourishing nervous system. And so it's really important that we really watch what we're eating. Making sure that we're having food foods that are conducive with our bodies, such as more alkaline foods, green leafy vegetables and pulses and legumes such as chickpeas and lentils, red kidney beans, aduki beans, really good for restoring the body, also providing us with protein that we need, and also fresh vegetables, spices, herbs are really good, and also making sure that the foods that we're eating are conducive with the body and not acidic, because acidic foods take longer to break down in the body. So we have to make sure that we're having foods that are easily digestible, because it takes less energy from the body. And so our cells are constantly renewing themselves. We have 300 million cells that die every minute, and are replaced by the foods that we eat, or the nutrients from the foods that we eat. So making sure that we have the right foods is really going to help on a cellular level to keep our energy high and our vibration high. So my journey of being plant-based started over 12 years ago. I went on a plant-based diet mainly to find more space in my body, to feel a lot lighter in my mind and my body, and I never went back from that point. It also, funny enough to me, it helped me to overcome a skin imbalance that I had at the time, and so I never did go back. But it was really about trying to find something that was more conducive with my body, and everyone's body is going to be completely different. So it's finding what works for you and sticking with that. There might be really high alkaline foods that work for some people that might not work for another person. So it's really important to check out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. There is a stigma that if someone is complete vegan or plant-based, or they eat really healthy, that they are almost invincible to any illnesses or diseases or imbalances, and that's not always true. I always advocate for a holistic approach to well-being. That means looking at what we're eating, looking at what we're feeding our minds, look at what our energy is picking up, the energy fields that are around us that are affecting our cells. It's always going to be a holistic approach. So we have to take that approach into consideration if we do find any imbalances in the body. So always checking in with the body, always checking in with the mind, always checking in with the diet and the stomach, and always checking in on the energy around you, radio and electromagnetic waves, and all of them things that could potentially have an effect on our health and well-being is really going to help us to elevate our vibration, help us to elevate our emotions and our mental state. So there's different type of foods for different parts of the body. We have 11 systems in the body. We have the immune system, the nervous system, the circulatory system, and so many more that correspond to different types of foods. So when we are ingesting different foods, it's also good to really tune into what that food is helping, or the organs that the food's helping. So for example, if we're looking at red foods such as spices, cayenne pepper, really good for the circulatory system, really good for the blood. So it kind of links with, if you do get stuck, you understand the colours and the colours in the body, or the elements in the body. So red foods are really good for the blood in the body. There's foods that are in the sea vegetables, some people that eat fish, but mainly sea vegetables, seaweed, sea moss is really good for the waters, for the minerals in the body as well. So you can really elevate and clean out the body using foods that help the waters in the body. It's really going to help to flush out the body. Then you've got your earthy foods, so your really green plant-based foods, such as your kales, spinach, broccoli, so many different green vegetables, dark green, especially leafy vegetables, that are really good for the earth element in the body, so the structure, the bones, the foundations of the body. So looking at different foods that incorporate with the body on the earth element, the green element, is really good to tie and link to those different foods. Then there are air foods. So in Ayurvedic, which is a system that is known mainly from India, they use that in a way of understanding how the body is balanced. Is there more fire in the body? Is there more air in the body? Is there more water in the body? And you can get these tests online actually, but there's a way of understanding what your body needs more of. Some people need more water-based foods. Some people need more plant-based foods. Some people need a bit more heat. Some people need to stay away from heat. So it's good to always try out different foods and see how you react to different foods from a plant-based level, and making sure that they're high alkaline, and not just having anything from that specific area, because it's going to help to encourage the body, especially the immune system, especially the nervous system, to respond and react how it should be in a natural space. Because we're constantly being bombarded with different chemicals in the food, through the media, through the electromagnetic waves, it reduces the strength of our nervous system. So the nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, has two elements to it. You have the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is when we are in a restful, digestible space. So the body is very restful, it's very relaxed, and it's able to digest our foods so much more easily than if it's in the sympathetic nervous system, which is when we're in fight or flight. So imagine the blood in the body is all contained around the major organs. And when we're in the sympathetic nervous system, the blood extends out into the limbs. And that becomes a problem because it's not supporting the major organs, the digestive system most importantly. So then it becomes harder to digest foods. So making sure that the foods that we are eating are easily digestible, so that it works conducively with the parasympathetic nervous system. Then we can begin to produce more optimum health and well-being within the body, and start to encourage more balance within our internal environment, and start to work with the elements within the internal environments, start to understand the water element in the body. The body is made up of 75% of water, so it's important that we are encouraging water into our diet, at least 4 litres a day. Some people say 2, I recommend 4, because it's only going to help to keep the body not only supple, the joints, the cells, the organs, but it helps with, again, the digestion process. Also, the air element, which we're going to go into a little bit more with the breathing exercises, also helps to balance the body, and also the physical grounding work that we're going to be doing shortly. There's there's different types of yoga practices that you can utilize. I come from a system of African yoga. I trained in African yoga, I've trained in Hatha yoga and Ashtanga yoga. The reason why I wanted to train in African yoga was because I wanted to do a practice that represented me. I wanted a practice that represented my culture and my history. And I know that there has been, there's been so many articles and books and information written on yoga in Africa, but it seems that it wasn't as popular as the yoga that we see that has its foundations in India. And so having taken that journey and finding so much, a vast amount of information on yoga in Africa through the hieroglyphs on the temples, the monuments, it was astounding to me that no one was talking about it as much as it probably should be. And so taking that African yoga course really, it felt empowering, most importantly, but it felt good to actually find my roots in a yoga system as well. And that's not to say that I haven't tried any other yoga system, because the other systems, which is Hatha and Ashtanga, have worked conducively with the African yoga system that I work with. It's also important to know that within the ancient Egyptian system, or the Smaitawi system, which basically means to bridge the lower and the higher consciousness and the low consciousness into one, into the mind, body and spirit, which is similar to the yoga system as we know it today, or it's exactly the same as the yoga system we know it today. We pull out, again, different elements of what yoga is. Yoga, as I mentioned before, is there's so many angles to yoga. You can be doing yoga without actually physically being on the mat. And that's one of the most important aspects of yoga, is understanding it from a physical perspective, a mental perspective, a spiritual perspective, because they all come together to provide that whole practice. One of the main things in yoga is the meditation. And when we're doing our yoga practice in all the different systems, we are working through a moving meditation. Everything that we do is part of meditation. When we're holding postures, we're coming back into the mind and the breath and the body to produce a form of meditation. And meditation can be done in many different ways, so that's one angle within the yoga system. There's an angle of doing meditation when you're just walking, when you're sitting. There's so many different types of meditation that you can really tap into. But meditation is really about tapping into that stillness within, the silence within, the quietness within, and being able to almost shut off from the external environment and come back to the internal environment, come back into the feelings and the observation of something more than just the conscious mind. It's moving back into that observation space where we're just watching everything that's happening. And there is some people that ask the question of, are we supposed to be silent, when we're meditating, or is the mind supposed to not think about anything? And as I mentioned before, there's different ways to view meditation. One of the ways of doing a meditation is to try and get the mind to be completely quiet. Try and get the mind to be completely still. But in doing that, sometimes you can create more noise in the mind by trying to stop that. So a good way to do meditation is just to observe. If you do have thoughts and they come up, just observe them, let them come through, and then let them go again. Try not to judge the thoughts, try not to add any emotions to the thoughts, just allow them to come and go, and eventually you'll get into a space where the thoughts will stop popping up because they're not being stimulated and they're not being activated by an emotion or a response, whether that be internally or externally. So tuning back in, away from the conscious mind and going back into our subconscious mind and staying in that subconscious mind for as long as possible really helps to encourage the meditation process. So taking all of those mantras into consideration, we're now going to go into a nice relaxing practice of African yoga. So now we're going to get into the practical side. We're going to do some African yoga, and it's going to incorporate 3 different elements. So we're going to do some African Tai Chi, which is known as Hoodoo, which is where we're moving with the elements. We're working with the air, earth, water and fire, and we're trying to understand them elements within internally, because we all have them elements within the body. We're going to do some posture work, so we're going to get into some postures, and we're also going to do some pranayama, which is breath work. So working with those 3 elements and working with them together so that the body becomes more in balance, more in tune and more relaxed. So preparing for this, if you need anything such as props, you can get them now. If you have any cushions around that you can sit on, making sure that the knees are below the hips. So this is really key, because when the knees are above or over the hips, then there's a lot of tension that can come in the legs. But if you prop yourself up onto something like a block or some cushions, it helps to relax the knees down towards the floor. Also, if you need any support, if you need any water, then grab that now. I recommend not to drink water throughout the practice. If you're going to drink water, drink it now, before or after, because again, we're going to be doing some twisting and you don't want the water to come back up. So get in a relaxing posture, seated posture with the legs crossed. Aligning the spine, making sure the spine is nice and erect. And we're going to inhale, take the shoulders up towards the ear. And as you exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. So you've got that extra bit of space in the chest. You've got that extra bit of space between the shoulders and the ears, and the neck is nice and long. So just keeping everything soft. We're going to take a few minutes to just arrive into the space. So keeping the eyes closed and coming into the breath. So take a nice deep breath in and exhale the breath out. One more time like that. Inhale and exhale, and just become aware of the space that you're in. So the room that you might be in at the moment, just become sensitive to any sensations in the space, any sounds apart from my voice that you can hear, any fragrances that you can smell. You might be able to feel the wind or any air touching the skin. Just become super sensitive to your external environment. The more we become more aware of what's happening around us, it allows us to become more aware of what's happening within. Take 2 more breaths here. Then come inside the body. So we're just going to do a quick body scan to make sure that the body's nice and relaxed and ready for the practice today. So just start at the top of the head, the crown of the head, and just feel for any sensations of the crown of the head. Then move down to the eyeballs and just allow them to relax in the sockets. And then come into the space behind the eyeballs. And then come down into the jaw, the mouth. And just observe that space between the back of the head and the mouth. And then moving down into the chest, observing the space in the chest. And as we move down, try and relax the body a little bit more. Try and relax the muscles. If there is any tension that you might feel, you might want to stay in that area and just breathe into that space just a little longer. Then move down into the tummy area and just pay attention to any sensations in that space. Moving your awareness down the arms, into the fingers, down the legs, into the feet, and just paying attention to the overall sensation around and inside the body. Now bring your awareness to the breath. Bring your awareness right to the tip of the nostrils. So feel any sensations right at the tip of the nostrils. As you take a nice deep breath in, feel that air moving through the nostrils, into the nasal passage, into the windpipe, down into the lungs, and into the diaphragm. Extending the diaphragm and the stomach out on the inhalation. As you exhale, release that breath all the way back out. I'm going to do this 2 more times. So inhale, nice deep breath in. Journey with that breath all the way down into the tummy. And exhale, release the breath. Last time, nice deep breath in. And exhale, release that breath. So the body should feel nice and relaxed, a little bit more relaxed than it did before. Gently open the eyes, keeping the arms nice and relaxed, keeping the hands relaxed. We're going to start with a gentle warm-up. So again, keeping that spine nice and straight. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, just drop the chin down to the chest. And then roll the head over to the right side. Half circles, bringing the ear parallel to the shoulder, and then coming round onto the left side. We're going to do this a few rounds. So moving back to the right, keeping the head nice and heavy. So we're opening and gently relaxing the neck muscles, rolling back to the left, and then we're going to come over onto the back. So moving onto the back, we're doing the same thing. So this is really good again for the nervous system because it wakes up the nervous system that runs right down from the brain down to the spine. So visualize this at the top, almost the top of where the nervous system starts. And then we're just opening and unlocking that system. So bring the head all the way around, full circle, whilst using the breath at the same time. And then bring the head up, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. We're going to inhale, take the arms up, extend to the ceiling. Again, keep the spine nice and strong and erect. Take the arms up, fingers nice and wide, and then take the arms out to the side. You're going to interlock the fingers behind the back, open the chest, take a nice deep breath in, and then exhale, just bring the head down towards the floor. Don't worry about getting the head all the way down. It's almost just to get that opening in the shoulders and the shoulder blades. And then exhale, release, coming all the way back up. Bringing the hands down onto the floor, opening the chest, and then taking the head back. Nice deep breath in here. Exhale, bringing the head back up, bringing the spine back into alignment. We're going to place the right hand down on the floor. Take the left hand up, extend with that left hand. We're going to come into a side stretch. So bringing that left hand over to the right, and you can place that right elbow down onto the floor and then gaze up towards the ceiling just to open up the sides of the trunks, or the sides of the body. Hold there for 2 breaths. And then inhale, come up and change sides. So the key here is to make sure your practice is as fluid and as gentle as possible. Don't try and force anything, because then we're doing the opposite of what yoga is about. Just surrender to the poses. If you don't get all the way down, then don't worry about that. One more time on the right side. It's more about tuning into your body and what feels right for you. Last time, over onto the other side. Nice deep breaths here. And then inhale, come up, extending the arms again back to the ceiling. And we're going to bend the right hand, and then we're going to place that left elbow on top of that right arm. We're going to twist the hands together to create a prayer pose, and we're just going to lift the elbows up. So this is good to just stretch the shoulder blades. or the space in between the shoulder blades. Just take 2 nice deep breaths here. Good, and then unravel. Inhale, lift. And then we're going to change sides. So taking the left hand down, place the right elbow over that left arm, and then just swivel the hands around. Good. Key here is to lift the elbows up so you can get a deeper stretch in the shoulder blades whilst dropping the shoulders down. Moving the hands away from the face. 2 deep breaths here. And then unravel. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, take them down. We're going to do some breathing techniques. So we're going to inhale, take the arms forward. Inhale, come up with the hands. Exhale, come down. So just rotating through the shoulders. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, come down. Relax the hands, relax the shoulders, relax the legs. So the upper body should be nice and supple and stretched now. We're going to go into the lower part of the body. So we're just going to extend the legs out and just begin to warm up the hamstrings, the knees, the ankles. So taking a nice deep breath in, again, arms come up. As we exhale, we're going to lower the upper body down towards the legs. And don't worry about grabbing onto the feet or the legs. Just keep the arms soft and then bringing them back up again. So we're going to do 3 rounds. Inhale, exhale, come down. Last one, inhale, and exhale, come down. This time we're going to stay there. So you can grab onto the shins or the ankles or the bottom of the feet and just bring the head slightly down towards the knees. Again, don't fight with the body to try and bring the head all the way down. This is more about just relaxing into it so you can get that nice stretch from the back of the legs into the spine. 2 more breaths here. And then just gently release. Inhale, come up, and then we're going to open the legs just for a deeper stretch and opening into the hamstrings. You're going to place both hands in the middle of the legs. Bring the left arm up. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, move over to the right side. So another side stretch, but we're opening the legs and extending into the hamstrings. Take 2 breaths here. And then inhale, change. So we're going to bring the chest down to the knee. So bringing the chest all the way down, relaxing the head and taking 2 breaths here. I'm going to take a nice deep breath from here. We're going to move to center and then just walk the hands away from the body. So this is really good, again, for opening the hamstrings a little bit more whilst opening the vertebrae and the spine as well. Just 2 breaths here. And then we're going to move over to the left side. So placing that left hand down, taking the right arm over and around and extending into the arm. 2 breaths. And then swiveling the torso and the chest around and then placing that chest down towards the upper thigh, head down to the knee. And then inhale, slowly walk the body back up. Bring the legs together. And we're just going to do a tapping exercise. Tapping is really good for waking up the nervous system. So all we're doing is just tapping on the legs, tapping down the legs, into the feet, into the bottom of the feet, back up the legs, tapping into the lower back, all the way up the side of the body into the chest, into the shoulders, where we hold a lot of tension and anxiety and stress into the back of the neck. And then coming around with the fingers into the jaw area. And just tapping onto the face, onto the temples, the eyebrows, and the forehead. And then just relaxing the arms, just doing a few wrist rotations, and then changing direction. And then one more time, opposite direction. And then just relaxing the body. Okay, so we're going to come onto all fours now. So, coming onto your hands and knees and making sure that the wrist is directly under the shoulders. So we're going to be in this position for a few breaths. So try and relax the stomach muscles, try and relax the chest, try and make sure that you're not dipping into that lower back so that there's no sink into the lower back. Make sure that the spine is nice and straight. And all we're going to do is just rock side to side here, just again to wake up the spine. We'll do some cat and cow postures. So we're going to inhale, gaze up, and just gently dip into the spine. And as we exhale, we're going to hunch the spine up. Again, inhale, gazing up, and then exhale, curling through the spine. Now we're going to tuck the toes under, so we're going to come into our downward dog pose. So we're going to lift off the knees, come onto the toes, and then bring the heels down onto the floor. So you're coming into a downward dog. So all you're doing here, first one, just walk the legs out, just so the body gets used to being in this posture. And then we're going to come onto the tiptoes, bend through the knees, and then twist over to the left side. Take a nice deep breath here. And then come down, open the knees nice and wide, and then come into a child pose. Just rest the head down to the floor. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So coming back onto all fours, tucking the toes under. This time we're going to lift the knees off the floor, go high with the hips and the bum, and then bring the heels down onto the floor. Take a nice deep breath here, then come up onto the toes, bend the knees, twist over to the right side. Take a nice deep breath, and then coming back down, back into the child pose. So keep the knees nice and wide, bring the head down to the floor, and try and relax the body so that the arms are away from the body, the head's down. And just take rest here, so 2 breaths. So we're going to do the same thing again. This time we're going to come into a fluid journey. So coming back onto all fours, tucking the toes under, lifting the hips nice and high, bring the heels down to the floor. We're going to lift with the right leg. So we're going to take that right leg up, bend through the knee, and take it over to the left side. Take a nice deep breath here, and then we're going to move that leg in between both hands. So come into the top of the mat. And then we're going to just stretch here in a pyramid pose, drawing the head down to the knee. Remember to take deep breaths here. Nice deep breaths, opening up the back of that right leg. And then inhale, we're going to come to center. So you're just going to swivel around with the body. Take the hands down to the floor. Gaze forward. Exhale. Just relax the chest further down to the floor. And hold there for 3 breaths. Good, now come up. Nice deep breath in. We're going to come over to the left side. So coming over to the left side, bending into the knee, and then coming into a downward dog from here. So come into your downward dog, make sure you're nice and stable. Then we're going to lift that left leg and do the same thing. So lift the left leg, take it over to the right side. Nice deep breath. And as we exhale, we're going to bring that foot in between both hands and hold there for a few breaths. So it's important to find the right alignment that fits for you, making sure that the left leg is aligned with the instep of that right foot. So making sure that there's a direct line, so you've got the right alignment, so you're getting the right stretch. 2 breaths. And then coming back into center again. Keeping the hips nice and high and moving the head down towards the floor again, just to open up the back of the legs. Breathing nice and deep. And then gently bending into the knees. We're going to come up, so we're going to slowly raise the arms up on the inhalation. Exhale, bring the hands down. So we do that a few times. Inhale, take the arms up in front of the body. Exhale, bend through the elbows, bring it down. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Now just bringing the feet together. So now the body should be nice and warm. There should be more movement in the joints. You should feel a bit more relaxed and a bit more open. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go into some hoodoo. So again, as I mentioned before, it's about working with the elements within and the elements around us. So the hoodoo part is a bit more fluid. It's less static than traditional yoga systems because it applies some rhythm. So it's really nice for us to get in tune with the body again. So bringing the feet together, you're going to press down into the heels and into the balls of the feet. Lift the toes off the floor. We're going to inhale, so we're going to come into breaths of shu. So that means we're going to come up onto the toes, take the arms out to the sides. Nice deep breath in. And then exhale, just come down. Again, inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. This is really good for the mind as well, balancing the mind. So if you find that you inhale, come up. If you find that you feel a bit wobbly, try and focus on one point on the wall or in your home or wherever you are and stay there with it. Again, inhale. And exhale. Last time. Inhale. And just hold there. Find your balance. And then exhale, come down. Good. Okay, so keep the legs grounded on the floor. Slightly separate the feet, just a bit over hip width apart. We're going to bend in the knees. So we're going to do some earthing element. So that was air. We're going to do some earthing element. We're going to go back to air in a bit because it's really important that the air element is activated a bit more because we use that through breath. So we're going to do some earth movement. Earth movement is really about grounding ourselves. And so we ground our feet into the floor. Take a nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we're bringing the arms down. So we're earthing ourselves into the floor. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, come down. Nice and slowly. Inhale. So don't rush the movement. Exhale, come down. And again, inhale. And as we're coming down, exhale, feel the body moving further down into the earth. And again, inhale. Exhale. 2 more rounds. Inhale. And exhale, release. Last one, inhale. And exhale, release. Good, inhale, take the arms round, bring the palms together, exhale. Just bring the hands to the center of the chest, close the eyes and just take a few breaths here. So we're just trying to regulate the breathing pattern again, coming back to your own natural breathing pattern. Try and slow the breath down here. The more you slow the breath down, the more the heart rate will come down. So if the heart feels like it's pumping quite fast, then tune back into the breath. Good, relaxing the arms, relaxing the shoulders. We're going to come into a journey now. So we're going to come to the top of the mat. So we always start by setting our intention before we go into the journey and then following that throughout the postures and movements that we do. So taking a nice deep breath in, taking the arms over the head, coming into prayer, exhale, bringing the hands into the chest. And this is where we set our intention. So just set an intention for the rest of the day, what you want to be able to come from your practice today. Then releasing the arms down, we're going to inhale, take the arms over the head, coming back into prayer. This time we're going to bend through the knees and bend through the elbows, coming down. Then we're going to inhale, we're going to come into chair pose. So extend the arms out, keeping the bum low, knees bent. Exhale, coming down. We're going to step back with the left leg. Then we're going to inhale, coming into warrior one. Reaching the arms up over the head. Then exhale, we're going to open up and come into warrior two. But we're going to keep it fluid, so we're going to add the African Tai Chi into this. So all we're going to do here is bend into that right elbow. Take the arm over the head. Inhale. And then as we exhale, coming up, going into reverse warrior. We're going to do that a few times. And then coming back down. On the exhalation, inhale, take the arm over the head. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, arm over the head. One more round. Exhale, and then inhale, take the arm up. Exhale, coming back, arm comes over, then hold that there. 2 breaths. Then exhale, bringing that elbow back down to the knee. We're going to come into a shadow pose. So we're going to bring the hands down to the floor, bend into that right knee, and then just come up onto that left heel. We're going to stay low here for a few breaths. If you can, you're aiming to bring the elbows as close down to the floor as possible. Don't worry about them connecting to the floor. Just take a few breaths here. Then we're going to inhale, we're going to move over to the left side. So coming up and around, down, over onto the left side, coming up on the right heel. Again, bringing the elbows to work down towards the floor. Then we're going to gently come up into warrior two. So we're doing it in reverse. Coming into warrior two here. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to bend through the left elbow. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down and back into reverse. So this is really opening up and waking up the nervous system. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, down, stretching over. Last one, inhale. And exhale, coming down and over. Then we're going to bring the hands to the hips. We're going to turn to face the opposite side. Then step in. Inhale, take the arms up. Bending through the elbows. Coming into chair pose. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, bringing the hands in and coming up. Again, coming back to the breath here, so just regulate the breathing again. Relax the body. So the heartbeat should be racing by this point. Try and keep the body calm. Remember, it's about moving meditation. So you're not trying to force anything. Just trying to be nice, soft and fluid. Two more breaths here. And just relax the arms down, relax the shoulders, come back to the center of the mat. We're going to do a bit more hoodoo air element. So this one is called the air element, and it's basically shifting and moving the energy in our field or electromagnetic field. You know, it's almost like a clearing system. So we're constantly clearing, shifting, clearing, shifting. So start with the feet grounded into the floor. Slightly bend the knees. We're going to take the arms out to the sides, bending the left hand in front of the face slightly. We're going to inhale, and all we're going to do is shift onto the left side, moving on to the right. And we're going to keep that fluid movement going from side to side. So again, as you can see, it's almost like you're clearing the energy field around the body. So bringing it across the chest and just moving the arms side to side. So you can go as slow as you need to. You can speed it up depending on how you're feeling and what your body needs. Bringing the hands down to the waist. Doing the same thing here, moving and shifting, moving and shifting. Bringing the hands down to the knees. And doing the same thing while consciously still bringing your awareness to your field of energy around the body. And then bringing the hands down to the feet. And doing the exact same motion here. Bending through one knee, straightening the other knee. Bending through one, straightening the other. And then coming back up through the knees, through the hips, through the chest. And then up, extending the arms one by one to the ceiling. And then taking both arms up, exhale, come down, relax the shoulders, walk the feet in, bring the hands to the center of the chest, and again just take a few breaths. So we're just trying to regulate the breath again. It's important that you always come back to your centering pose. So you've got time to breathe. Circulatory system's got time to pump that blood around the body. Gently open the eyes, relax the arms down. So we're going to start to cool down now. So come down onto the mat, onto the knees, or you can sit in a cross-legged position, whatever feels comfortable. I'll go sideways so you can get a better look. So making sure that the bum is tucked under. Again, shoulders are back and down. Placing the hands on the floor. All we're going to do is inhale, lift the chest up. So we're lifting the bum and the chest up towards the ceiling, dropping the head back. Exhale, coming down. Bringing the hands down to the floor and the head down. And again, we're going to come up, just 2 more times. So lifting the hips high towards the ceiling, drop the head back. Exhale, coming down, bringing the hands round and down. And last time, so we're going to bring the hands back. Inhale, lift. And exhale, coming down. Coming back into chair pose, relaxing the head. And just stay here for a few breaths. So this is a really good restorative pose as well. It's really good for the nervous system. It calms the mind down. So making sure that if the head feels too low, that you have either a cushion or a prop under the head. Just 2 more breaths here. And then we're just going to gently walk the hands back. And we're going to come back onto a seated position. We're going to come onto our backs now. So we're starting to cool the body down. We're just going to do some open stretches. So lying down on the back, making sure that the whole spine is connected to the floor. So naturally, you might have a slight arch in the lower back. So trying to tuck the bum under so that the arch is connecting to the floor really helps to get the whole spine aligned onto the floor. Then just taking the arms out, we're going to bend the knees into the chest. Just hook around the knees and just rock side to side. So this is going to help to release the lower back. Then just extend both legs up to the ceiling. Walk out the feet. Take the arms out to the sides if you need to. And then we're going to bring the left leg down to the floor. We're going to wrap the hands around or interlock the hands around the back of the leg, the right leg, and just gently draw the leg in. So again, don't worry about putting the leg all the way to the head or the face. It's more about just getting that opening and the stretch right down the back of the leg. Just 2 more breaths here. And then bending through that knee, place the ankle on that left knee. We're going to bring the hands around that leg and then just draw the knee into the chest. So again, we're opening with that hip and we're opening the lower back as well. Just a few breaths here. And try and relax the parts of the body that are not working. So there's no point in us opening and stretching the body while still feeling tense or any tension in any parts of the body. So make sure that the body is nice and relaxed. And the only parts of the body that are working are the active parts, such as the legs and the hips. Good. Take that left foot down. And then we're just going to open up into a happy baby or half happy baby pose with this leg. So we're going to take that leg, bring the hands to the base of the right foot and just draw that knee down to the floor. So as you can see, the knee's working down to the floor. Try and get the ankle in alignment with that knee so that you're getting a nice opening with that pose. Again, don't worry about getting it to perfection. It's more about getting it to where it's working with your body. Just 2 more breaths here. And then take that leg over to the left side for a nice spinal twist. So you can place the left hand onto that knee so you can get a deeper stretch. Keep the rest of the body nice and straight. So again, what you want to do here is press the shoulder blades into the floor. Make sure that both shoulder blades are into the floor, so you're getting a nice deep twist in the midsection and the lower section of that spine. Then inhale, take that knee up. We're going to change legs. So we're going to extend the left leg up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers behind the leg and just pull that leg down towards the chest. Again, monitor your breathing, making sure you're inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils. Relaxing into the rest of the body. Shoulder blades are pressed into the floor. There's 2 more breaths here. And then inhaling, we're going to take the ankle and place it onto that right knee. Bringing the hands around that leg and pulling the knee into the chest. So again, you're going to feel a nice opening into the hip, which is really good. Again, the hips are a part of the body that creates alignment. So they're almost like the scales of the body. And we tend to dump a lot of tension onto the hips as well. So taking a minute to open the hips and get some extra space into this particular area is really, really good. It helps to realign the body and it helps to bring back homeostasis in the body as well. Just 2 more breaths here. And then taking that leg down, we're going to come into half happy baby. So the same thing we did on the right side, just bending into that left knee, grabbing onto the base of the foot and just pressing that leg down into the floor. So we're working the knee down, opening into the groin area and the thighs. Just 2 more breaths here. Exhale, we're going to bring that knee over onto the right side, keeping the shoulder blades down onto the floor and just twisting with the spine. So making sure that the spine's nice and relaxed and twisted, and then bringing the upper body center. Taking nice deep breaths here. So again, this is another one that's really good for the immune system. It's good for the nervous system as well. So just try and relax in this posture for as long as you can. Try and relax the space in between each vertebrae. And just focus on the breath here. Good, then inhale. Coming back to center, bending both knees into the chest, just hugging around both knees. Rocking side to side just to release the lower back. And then we're going to come into our final relaxation into Savasana. So, come into a position or a posture that feels comfortable. You can be lying down. So I'm going to sit up for this one, but make sure that you're comfortable. You can use cushions. So lay down on the back, relaxing the shoulders down into the floor, the shoulder blades into the floor. Keep the body nice and relaxed. So we're going to really sink in and really allow the whole practice to really nourish the whole body and allow it to sink into the bones, into the joints, into the cells. So this is probably the most important part of the practice because it allows you to really absorb everything that you've just done in the past hour or 45 minutes. So really take some time to get comfortable. If you need any props, any extra cushions, even a blanket, then get them now. Then we're just going to begin to relax the body. So keeping the whole body nice and soft. We're going to go from the top of the head right back down to the toes. And we're just going to scan through the body to make sure everywhere's nice and relaxed, nice and open. So starting from the crown of the head, just taking a nice deep breath in. And try and relax the muscles around the crown of the head. And then bringing your awareness to the forehead. And doing the same thing. So if there's any tension, you tend to have some tension in the forehead, just relax the eyebrows, relax the forehead, and just try and keep the forehead nice and soft. And then move into the eyeballs. So as you're lying down, try and get the eyeballs to just sink back into the sockets so they're nice and rested and there's no tension around the muscles. And then bringing your awareness to the jaw. So if you feel like the jaw is quite tight because the lips are quite tight, then just soften the lips and you'll find that the jaw will naturally just soften and drop down. And then moving into the neck and the shoulders, making sure the shoulders are nice and relaxed and just dropped back into the floor. The whole spine is nice and relaxed. And the same with the hips. So just dropping the hips, allowing them to sink into the floor. And then just moving into the arms. So have the palms facing up towards the ceiling. And you'll find that if you just open up the hands, allow the fingers to just naturally curl into the palms of the hands. That way you know that the hands are nice and relaxed and there's no tension in the fingers or in the wrists. And then bringing your awareness into each thigh, relaxing the thighs, keeping them nice and soft, into the knees, into the shins and the ankles. And then ending up in the feet and just having the feet just hang out to the sides. So don't try and keep anything upright, just allow everything to just drop out, open up, relax. And just breathe there for a few breaths. So we're using Ujjayi breathing, which is breathing in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. So keeping the mouth slightly closed. If it opens slightly, then don't worry. It's not a problem. But the focus is to breathe in through the nostrils, nice and deep, down into the diaphragm, into the tummy, and exhale through the nostrils. So we're going to do this a few times. Take a nice deep breath in, inhale, and then U-turn, exhale, and take that breath all the way back out. And again, inhale. And then U-turn, exhale. Take that breath all the way back out. 2 more times like that. Inhale. Letting the breath move nice and slowly through the body. And then exhale, release that breath all the way back out. Last time, nice and deep. Inhale. And then U-turn, exhale, release that breath. So this time we're going to retain the breath because this helps to just relax the muscles and the limbs a little bit more. So as we inhale, we're going to take a nice deep breath in for 5. And then we're going to hold the breath here. So retain the breath, keeping the body nice and relaxed for 5. And then we're going to exhale the breath all the way out for 8. We're going to do that 4 more times. So inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow movements. Inhale. Hold the breath. And exhale. Good. 2 more times. Inhale. Hold the breath. And exhale, empty the lungs completely. Last one. Inhale. Hold the breath. exhale, empty the lungs. Good. Now just relax the body and come back into your natural breathing rhythm. Just relax all the muscles and just feel that extra bit of space that you've created in your body, created in your mind. If there was anything that you overcome in your practice today, whether that be a posture or emotional block or anything, then just take a minute to acknowledge that. Now if you want to, you can stay here and go into a deeper relaxation, but for the sake of the stream, we're going to come up. So you're going to roll onto your left side and slowly bring yourself up into a seated position with the legs crossed. Keep the eyes closed. Bring the palms together, the center of the chest. And we're just going to close the practice today. So you're just going to pay attention to everything that you have observed for the session today. Everything that you've learned and all the juicy practice that has gone deep into the cells today. So just acknowledging all the systems that are working harmoniously to provide you with health and well-being. The nervous system, the immune system, respiratory system, all the systems that work in harmony to create a balanced atmosphere within your body. You just want to be grateful for that, and just take a minute to send that gratitude throughout the body. And we're going to close by just sending a reminder to ourselves. So we're going to bring the hands to the heart center to remind us to be conscious of our intentions towards ourselves and to others. Bring the hands to the mouth to remind us to be conscious of our words that we speak towards ourselves and to others. Keep them in a peaceful and balanced space. And then bringing the hands to the forehead to remind us to be conscious of our thoughts towards ourselves and to others, and keep them in a balanced and harmonious space. Taking a nice deep breath in, bringing the head down to the hands, gently opening the eyes and just relaxing the hands down. So thank you everyone that got involved. I hope that this has been a very nourishing practice for you, and I hope that you have obtained as much information throughout this hour and a half or 20 minutes and got everything you need that can help you on your well-being journey. Take care.